When artists get the call that they will be featured on a track with Travis Scott, Quavo, and DJ Snake, it can feel like it's their big I made it moment. When artists actually know to be true is that you can be on a track with superstars and still have to work your day job as a garbage man to make ends meet. Such was the case for GASHI, who back in 2015 was known as a Brooklyn rapper trying to make a name for himself. Fast forward to 2024, and GASHI has become so much more than a rapper. Over the years, GASHI has grown into an accomplished artist, crossing into different genres, showcasing his vocals on tracks like fan favorite Creep on Me, featuring French Montana and DJ Snake. I'm your host, Tamara Dhia, and this is the Spout Podcast, where famous people spout off about more than what they're famous for. And today, that's GASHI. GASHI, how are you? Welcome to Spout Podcast.
Oh my God. It's been such a journey.
It's okay. Well, you made it. You can relax now. Now we're just going to have some fun. Okay. You can maybe take a deep breath in and then let it go.
Thank you. I needed that. I needed that. Yeah.
Of course. I do that all the time. That's how I reset. I'll take just a deep breath and then I'm good to go.
That's needed. That's so needed. I had a long night, so I'm just like,
did you? Okay.
I'm still recovering right now. I'm in New York. I'm like trying to recover from last night.
It's all right. We've all been there. So maybe a little water and a nap later will help you out. Well, I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you gave us the time to do this. I was really excited actually to, get a chance to talk to you after learning about your story. I was just fascinated. Before we get started though, I've heard people say GASHI and GASHI. So just to set the record straight, how do you pronounce your name properly?
The real way to pronounce it is GASHI.
Okay. And where did GASHI come from?
Well, GASHI is my last name. And,
the pronunciation of GASHI. Why?
Oh, GASHI,
yeah.
It came from school, man. It's like playing sports. I feel like a lot of people are just saying GASHI. A lot of my teachers were saying GASHI, and it kind of like stuck. I heard the story where like Ariana Grande's real last name is Grande.
Right.
But we all say Ariana Grande?
Yeah, totally. Or Rihanna and Rihanna.
Yeah, so, people say GASHI and some people say GASHI, but the correct way is GASHI.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, my name is Tamara, so I get Tamara, so I understand the plight.
I read it as Tamara.
Okay, yeah. So, but I answer to everything. So it's like, I turn around. I'm like, okay, I heard it. You and I actually have similar immigrant stories. So I was born in Baghdad and we fled in the midst of a war. And I landed in Nashville, Tennessee, out of all places, where I didn't look like anyone and I got bullied relentlessly. But, your immigrant story kind of echoes similar undertones and actually helped lead you to music. So can you talk about that journey?
Well, that's I'm glad you knew that about me. I feel like I'm starting to really run into a lot of people with these immigrant stories and similar backgrounds to me. It feels really good. It's starting to really feel like I'm starting to not feel so special anymore.
No, you are.
No, it just feels like I'm starting to hear it a lot, and it also makes me feel like it's okay to tell the story because a lot of people can relate. Definitely. And it's making me feel like I feel more at home and more safe to tell it because we used to be so afraid to tell it, afraid of, bad things happening. My mom would say, don't tell no one the story or else we'll have to go back or some shit, But it feels so good to meet people that have similar background stories as me. And, all we had was the radio and TV growing up, especially as an immigrant. So it just feels like, that kind of saved us. The radio saved us. The TV saved us. And it kind of led me to wanting to be a musician. That's all I knew. All I knew was watching TV, finding the person I loved, whether it was Michael Jackson or George Michael or whoever was on my TV or the Beatles. Like, whatever that was on TV is like what I loved and fell in love with. So I feel like that kind of like was like it was the inspiration to like want to learn English, to want to make it in America, because we've seen all these people that we love. Like if you see in one of my rooms in my house, I got this beetle painting, you know, a lot of people come in my house and my parents don't understand because they're immigrants. They don't understand like why I put these people on my walls and how I praise them, because it's like so against the culture of who we are. We're like taught to not idolize people and stuff. So I'm not idolizing them, but I just love their work, you know.
Yeah.
And as an immigrant, it just took so long to get here. I just want to continue to like tell the story, so you know I don't die, I don't fade away, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to tell that story for the next generation of kids that come to America and make it happen.
Yeah, and you know, obviously, like we were taught to assimilate because that's how you survived. You know, in the time that we came to the States. So I get it too. There was points where I was just. I hate to say it, but like ashamed of being Arab for a point because that's what we were taught. So now I
Yeah.
scream it from the rooftops as an adult because you're just like, no, hell no, that's my culture. That's where I'm raised.
Yeah.
So it's funny like how as you get older you hold it tighter to a culture that I wasn't even raised in, but it's something that is just a part of who you are.
I love that you said that. That's so crazy. You know,
Yeah.
like every now and then I'll meet somebody who's not even Albanian, but like
Mhm.
is like is like the people that rep that the people that say they're Albanian the most are the people that are like not even, they're like half Albanian.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like the
Yeah.
culture is so important, man. You're never gonna know where you're going if you don't know where you come from. I always
Oof.
tell people that, you know, it's
Yeah.
just like I meet so many people who are from one neighborhood and they die. A lot of their family members died in the neighborhood.
Hmm.
So like you know, to be knowing where your roots come from is so important because you know your last name. That's why I go by my last name. You know, I'm
Hmm.
changing it now to Larry, obviously, for this album. I'm Larry Gashi
Hmm.
because I kind of wanted to go with an American name because it's so hard for some people to say Gashi, so it's Larry Gashi. But
Hmm.
my real name is Labinot.
Hmm.
Labinot Larry Gashi, and that's my full name. I became Larry when I became an American citizen, obviously,
Yeah.
you know. But a lot of people, you know, a lot of people forget that this country was based on immigrants.
Yeah.
Like people think that, like you know, like I go to these southern countries because I for this new album, Brooklyn Cowboy, I went to record it in Muscle Shoals, Alabama,
Hmm.
because of my favorite artists, like the Rolling Stones and you know Paul Simon and you know even Lana Del Rey was there when I was there same time. You know we were there using the same Muscle Shoals studios,
Oh wow.
and it's just so funny to me the fact that like everybody that I was meeting there in Alabama, all these people were kind of like similar backgrounds as me. Like they're like, oh, my parents came here from Yugoslavia and stuff like that. Are you still there? Did I lose you?
Yeah, I'm
Like
still here.
like okay, cool. A lot of these people were telling me stories like, yeah, like my grandparents came from Yugoslavia and stuff like that. And I thought it's so crazy. Like the American culture is built on immigrants, and
Mhm.
as we move towards the future, our stories are going to be like a rare story because a lot of these kids with the internet now are speaking English and are doing.
Yeah,
It's like becoming a one world where it's like
definitely.
it's not interesting anymore. You know, like
Mhm.
sometimes when I'm on tour, I forget what country I'm in because everybody dresses the same.
Oh, it's so interesting.
Yeah. I used to love going into certain spots and being like, I know I'm here because this country always wears those shoes, you know. But like now it's like it's all like a gumbo. You can't really tell where you are, you
Yeah,
know. But
melting pot.
yeah, exactly.
Wait, so when you were at the studio, you mentioned Lana Del Rey. Like, did you have a chance to like connect with them, work with them, anything?
No, no, I didn't. I'm very, very like one of those artists that kind of minds his own business,
Yeah.
you know. I've worked with a lot of artists from Sting to DJ Snake
Yeah.
to Shep Khaled to uh, you can name
Quavo,
it,
Travis Scott.
Quavo,
Yeah.
Travis Scott, Rich the Kid. Like I've worked on a lot of stuff, and and the thing is like the best thing to do is give artists space. So when I saw her, I kind of just said hi and kept it moving.
Mhm.
We've met before when she was dating my friend, and she's always been such a sweetheart. She's a beautiful person. She's actually one of my favorite. She's actually one of my favorite artists,
Yeah, she's
and
amazing.
she's incredible. She gives me hope for music because it's so weird. We're in a weird place,
Oh.
and I um, I love her. She's one of the most incredible artists, but I tend to really like want to give artists space when
Yeah.
they're in their zone. When I'm recording, I'm not even the same person, you know.
Hmm.
When I'm recording, I tend to smoke cigarettes and do stuff that I normally wouldn't do, you
Oh,
know.
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a different vibe, different world for me. I like my space. I don't really like collaborating with other artists unless I really know them.
Hmm.
Um, that's one thing that I really didn't like about being in the music industry when I was signed was because they just get the feature for me and I never meet the artist,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? And it felt like I was the only one fighting to meet these people and see if they were like worthy of being on a record with me, you know?
Hmm.
Um, and now that's how I move. And I moved like that before too, but I just don't like I like giving artists their space. I like just being a fly on the wall and watching them create, you know.
Yeah. Well, a big artist that I did see a photo of you with, who's actually Albanian as well, is Dua Lipa, who I had the honor of interviewing for Spout Podcast. Um,
Oh
how
my
did
God.
how did you two connect?
Um, so Dua Lipa does this festival every year. She does this festival in Kosovo. Is
Mhm.
it cool if I stand up a little bit like
Y-
this?
Whatever makes you comfortable.
Sorry. All right, cool. This feels better.
Yeah, cool.
So Dua Lipa does this festival every year in Kosovo where she gives back to the community with her father, and they wanted, you know, since in I would think there's a lot of pop girls in the music industry that are Albanian like myself. You have BB Rexa, you have Ava Max,
Mhm.
who's a good friend of mine. You have Dua Lipa, uh, and that's a lot. You know,
Mhm.
that's a lot. And you know, I'm the only male Albanian artist
Mhm.
to ever have a number one album on Billboard, to ever make noise, and to of my country and where we come from. It's a big deal. I'm a what would you say? I'm a staple to
Mhm.
Albania, and she wanted me to perform and be one of the headliners when she first did the festival, and it was me, Miley Cyrus, and Calvin Harris who headlined the festival,
Mhm.
and it was an honor. And she's a sweet girl. Before she even blew up, I posted her to let my fans know about her. To you know, I really I like helping my people from where I'm from
Yeah.
and doing that. So we became friends. I'm friends with her dad and her family, and in our community, we tend to really lift each other up, and sometimes we
Yeah.
tear each other down at the same time. But that's because, you
A
know,
true
we have
family.
this. Yeah, you know, also it's just like it's this vibe and feeling of what happens when a country's at war.
Mhm.
When a country is at war and they go through war, what happens is it sets the country and the people back 10 to 20 years, right?
Mhm.
Is it cool if I talk about this on this thing?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
At any moment where it's like not friendly over here for me to talk about it, you can
Oh
stop
no,
it.
you talk about whatever you want. Like I said, like I relate to this supremely because I'm from Baghdad. So
Okay,
I took a
cool.
deep breath just because I was like, I understand it so deeply.
Yeah, so you know, like when you go into my country and you hear 50 Cent in the club, you're like, oh, the song just came out here.
Yeah.
Um, nah, that's a joke. But you know, it's like it sets the people back and it sets us further 20 years back. And what that does is it limits everyone to thinking that they have a window to make
Mhm.
it and there could only be one of us. So
Mhm.
that what that does is it turns us into crab in a bucket. And it makes us feel like we need to step on each other to get out because there's
Mhm.
not that many of us. And there's more Albanians out of Albania than in Albania, and
Yeah.
being from Kosovo and finally having our independence, I can say I'm from Kosovo now. I don't need to
Yeah.
just say Albania. But Dua Lipa is a staple in my country, and so am I. And there's so many of us. We have such great musicians. I'm so proud of her. I love her, and I hope she continues to shine. I know she just went independent recently,
Mhm.
um, and owns. I don't know if she went independent, but she
She
owns her
did.
music. Oh,
Yeah.
she did. Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I could tell because the album came out, and you can feel the difference. Um,
Yeah.
but that's the independent grind, and I hope
Mhm.
she continues to push it and do well. Um, but same thing with Adele, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Adele's last album was one of her greatest work, but she owns it and she put
Mhm.
it out independently, and that's what happens. You don't, you think the artist is, you're like, oh, is the artist is getting kind of slow for them? No, it's not.
Nope.
It's just when you have this big machine and they're owning everything, it's a complete different story
Totally.
when you're releasing it independently. So, I feel like, Dua Lipa just dropped a new album, I think, or I could be
She
wrong.
did. Yeah, she did.
Yeah, and she's doing it independently now, and I'm proud of her. I wish her success, and I hope that she
Mhm.
continues to thrive and be successful and put my country on and help people like myself. The more higher
Mhm.
she goes, the more I feel like I can do it too, and that's the goal.
Yeah, I mean, you are doing it. Like, I as I was like going through your history, it's amazing because you've been doing this for so long. Like back in
Yeah,
2015, you had a song with Travis Scott, Quavo, and DJ Snake. And what a lot of people
yeah,
don't know is at the time you were working as a garbage man, which I
yeah,
think is kind of the duality of the music business. Like on one side, people see this crazy thing that you're doing, and on the backside is the reality of what it's like to be a musician.
yeah,
So it's just like super fascinating, and like now you're on the
yeah,
other side of even it seems like a genre switch because, when you
yeah,
Google your name, it comes up that you're a rapper. And I think like a lot of people that have been following you throughout your career would have classified you as a rapper up until recently because with your new album, we're getting this whole country vibe, which is so dope. And
yeah.
I would be remiss not to say how much I love your hat.
Oh my
The
God. Thank
Yeah,
you.
like the New York
This
swag on the
this
cowboy hat.
these are my hats. I make these with a great friend of mine named Maurice who came up with the idea, and we both collaborated on this hat. We sell different ones. I got them all over the house. Like you can literally get them all over the house.
That's so dope.
They're all over. I mean, it's the new wave. Um I recently was with Doja Cat, and she goes, "You need to make me one." This was 2 nights ago after the Met Gala. She
Uh-huh.
came up to me and she was like, "Dude, you need to make me a hat." Tiana Taylor came up to me.
Yeah.
So many musicians who I'm friends with are coming up to me, begging me to make them one, and I'm just like taking my time with it.
Yeah.
I do have a departure of me changing my genre every
Mhm.
album. It's nothing
Yeah.
new. I went from
Yeah.
rapping to singing to doing Afro beats to doing an 80s album during the
Mhm.
pandemic to doing a hyper pop hip hop album with elevators to me doing a country sounding pop album now. Um, I just feel like as musicians, as a fan of music, every artist that I've ever loved, the best thing about a new album was I couldn't wait to see where they took it.
Yeah.
You understand? It's just like so interesting to see where music is going. Like, Taylor Swift. Like, if you listen to
Mhm.
Taylor Swift's new album, she sounds like Lana Del Rey.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's a new sound for her. You know what I mean? And I mean that in the most respectful way. I'm just saying it
Yeah.
sounds like Lana Del Rey. It sounds like she's been listening to Lana Del Rey and then
Mhm.
she made a Lana Del Rey sounding album, which is pretty cool to me, the fact that she can do that. You know what I mean? But I think that it's so cool that people are releasing when you release something, it's like a whole new sound from your last sound. Like I think, Tyler the Creator does that a lot.
Mhm.
Frank Ocean does that a lot. Uh I'm not going to say his name, does it a lot. We know who, you know who I'm talking
I
about,
didn't know who you're
but
talking about. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Beyonce
But
also just recently did it with, and she went country as well.
she
What was your
went
thoughts when that
country.
happened? Yeah.
I love her, man. I love
Yeah.
her. I've always been a fan of her. She's an incredible artist, incredible person. And I just love her. And I think that what she did was super brave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how you disrupt music. That's how
Mhm.
you disrupt it and you do what you're supposed to be doing as a musician. You're supposed to make an impact and make the world kind of shift, you know? I
Mhm.
started this album in 2019. I'm just now putting it out because I was fighting
Yeah.
for my independence.
Ah,
Um, but you know, I'm finally independent. I started my own label called Orca Sound
congratulations.
Records. Thank you so much. You
Yeah.
know, Orca Sound Records was is something that I started because I felt like we were as artists in a shark infested industry
Mhm.
and everybody wants to be a shark. And I felt like I was an orca. And the reason why I
Mhm.
say I was an orca is because I felt like this big killer whale in a small pool, and they didn't allow me to do what I wanted to do because they would like have to, you know, have control of me instead of
Mhm.
letting me be free willy. And when I got off of RCA, off RCA is Orca, ORCA.
Ah,
So Orca Sound Records is me being a killer whale and kind of starting my own pod, my own world.
I love that.
And in order for me to disrupt and find other artists like myself who are garbage men, who are immigrants and came to this country, that's what Brooklyn Cowboy, the album's about. It's not about me wearing this
Mhm.
hat. This hat does not represent me being a cowboy and horses and all that. This hat
Yeah.
represents that I made it out of the hardest city in the world, New York City. And like Sinatra says, if you can make it out of there, you can make it anywhere. And that's what I did. I was a garbage man who came from an immigrant family to New
Mhm.
York City, Brooklyn specifically, and I made it out. And
Mhm.
this is what this hat represents. When I wear this, it comes to show me we traveled so much, and that's what a cowboy does. He doesn't stay in one place. He travels west, right? I
Mhm.
traveled west. I went all the way to Hollywood to realize that it was not for me and I need to go back to Brooklyn. So that's what this entire album's about.
Nice. Well, initially when you announced the title of the album, you said it was Brooklyn Cowboy and the Dirty City. So is it now just Brooklyn Cowboy?
Yes. It's just Brooklyn Cowboy now. Thank you for noting that. I kind of like I love a lot of people in LA and I
Mhm.
don't want to call it the Dirty City. I just want to be respectful and just say I just want to say the Brooklyn Cowboy. But yes, the Brooklyn Cowboy and the Dirty City was the original title. It's about me leaving a city that I thought was not the same after the pandemic.
Mhm. Well, as a Los Angelina, I appreciate that.
Got
um,
you.
Obviously, you did the recent release of Midnight Sun, which is such a vibe. Can you talk about that track specifically?
Yeah, Midnight Sun is about the pandemic.
Mm.
And I went through the hardest time of my life. And I've been through everything. I was an immigrant. I was born in Libya. I'm not from Libya. My parents are from Kosovo, but we traveled so many countries to get to America. We had to fight
Mhm.
for our freedom. Half of my family was killed at war. We were set back. All of that, all of those things happened.
Mhm.
But what I can tell you is there's no pain that I felt the way I felt during the pandemic, watching my dreams crush and enter this darkness, this black, dark world that was all where I couldn't see anything because it was just felt so cloudy. It was
Mhm.
just such a low point in my life. I couldn't I couldn't accept the fact that the world was shutting down. And I was on tour, sold out my American tour for the first time. I was on top of my dreams were here. I was
Mhm.
dating the woman of my dreams who happened to be the biggest celebrity in the world. And I was everything I ever wanted was coming to life. And then I watched one day just take everything away from me.
Mhm.
And I felt like the universe brought this big, important light, this amazing, beautiful person, soul, into my world while I was in this darkness to go through the darkness. She
Mm.
was my midnight sun.
Oh,
And when I say I lost a few years, baby, didn't get to be young, I went from my 20s to my 30s in the pandemic.
yeah.
And it felt like, like when people say, "Are you 33?" I'd say I'm 30 because I feel like I need my 3 years back. I did not get a chance to really enjoy my life.
Yeah.
So
I feel
that's what
that.
Midnight Sun's about. Is about finding the light in the darkest time, the darkest moment of your life.
I love that. And then you also just teased a new single, Cold. Can you talk to me about
Yes.
Cold? I know you haven't dropped it yet, but you've been teasing it.
Yes, yes. Cold is about me figuring out that sometimes you can feel lonelier in bed with someone than if the bed was empty.
Yeah.
And you live with someone, and then you realize that you're reading the same chapters and the book should be closed. And
Oof.
it feels like you're just going through the same pages and you run out of tricks. And then the relationship gets cold and the house is not a home.
Yeah.
And that is what Cold is about. It's one of the greatest songs I've ever written in my life. And also the second verse is about two people that are the most important people in my life that I feel like live in the past and live for other people. They were supposed to get divorced a long time ago, but they stick around for the kids and they stick around for other people. And I feel like that is so sad. You know, it's so sad to see that.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, I can't wait for that to drop. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, it's a great record. Thank you so much. Cold is important. It's important.
Yeah. So, obviously we've moved into the country direction. But I saw on your reel that you're doing a vocal warm up to Louis Capaldi's Bruises. And
Yeah.
I was like stunned by your vocals. I was
Oh my God.
like
Thank
literally so
you.
good. It actually surprises me that you're like a Louis Capaldi fan, honestly. I was like, oh, like I was like shocked.
I love him so much. I adore him. I think he's incredible. I love his voice. I love him. I love how confident he is.
Mm.
And I pray for him all the time too,
Oh,
because I know he went through that situation. We have mutual friends. I haven't had the chance to meet him, but when I heard his story and the things he was going through, I kind of related to that. And
yeah.
I sing his song sometimes, and I always imagine him, and I feel like his story and what he's going through currently brings a lot of pain to me, and I
Yeah.
think that's where the pain comes from when I sing his songs.
Yeah, I can feel it for sure. Real quick, but I'm going to give you a moment before I let you go. You have a funny story about how you first met JayZ, right? For people that
Yeah.
don't know, you were signed to Rock Nation. So I think it's like a funny like beginning to like being signed to him versus how you started. So can you talk about how
Yeah, you
you
know
first
what?
met JayZ?
Can you give me a second? Can I
Yeah,
show
of
you
course.
something? All
Yeah,
right,
of course.
I'm gonna tell you the story and then I'm gonna show you.
Okay, great. I can't wait.
All right. So my friend said Jay-Z dropped a new book called Decoded. You should go buy it. I ain't have the money. So I went over there. He gave me money to buy him a book, and I picked a dollar off of everybody online, waited there with my CD, and I finally get there and I said, "Hi, how you doing?" And he said, "Hello." And I said, "My name is Larry Gashi. I'm an artist. I'm a rapper." I said, and I gave him the book to sign. He opens it up and he gets my CD and he just goes, "Ha ha ha ha," and he throws it in the garbage. And then and then he signs the book, you know? And it was painful, but at the same
Yeah.
time, now that I'm older and wiser, I see why he did that.
Mm,
Because you get in trouble nowadays. You take somebody's CD, God forbid they say
mm,
the same thing you said on a CD, and it's like all the suing and weird stuff. But I never quit because 7 years later, I still ended up signing to Rock Nation and meeting Jay Z and um, my dreams did come true. I've a lot of the dreams and goals that I set did come true.
mm.
They just never come. They never. happen exactly the way they think that they are. I thought I was
Oh,
going to
that's
sign in
great.
New York. I ended up signing in LA. I thought I was going to, everything you think. I thought I was going to be Grammy nominated for the first time on my stuff. I got Grammy nominated for Chris Brown's album because I wrote that
Mhm.
album. Um, yeah. Am I not supposed to talk about that either? You can cut that
No,
out.
no, you can say whatever. Wait, did you tell JayZ that story when you ended up signing with him?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he ended up signing the book. Let me just get it for you. Let me try to get it for you. I know it's here somewhere.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, just to prove it, I like to tell stories and then kind of show. Um, I like to tell stories and then kind of
Yeah.
show you what
Show
what
and
I'm
show
talking.
and tell.
Yeah, and this is it.
Oh, sick. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
dope.
this decoded.
Wait, so
It's a it's
like the big thing online is like, would you have dinner with Jay-Z or $500,000? And my guess is you've
yeah.
had dinner with Jay-Z. So has he given you any advice?
I've had I've been fortunate and blessed to say I've done three.
Yeah.
Um, I'm 1,500,000. Um, um, Great advice. I would say I've gotten a lot of great advice. And I've gotten even greater advice from his partner Jay Brown.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like I've been listening to Jay for so long, he doesn't even need to tell me anything because I already know, you
Yeah.
know, for his music. My parents were never around. My parents worked. My
Yeah.
parents worked n- n- from 7 a.m. to like 2 a.m. I never really got a chance to be around them. It's
Mhm.
like my parents are my best friends though, and I love them to death. They're my everything. But um, it was very, very a difficult time growing up, and the only thing I had was music. And Jay-Z's
Mhm.
albums were my teacher. He was
Mhm.
my professor. So when you see me start my own label and do all these things that I'm doing currently, it's because I got Reasonable Doubt. It's because I got Blueprint and in my
Mhm.
lifetime and all his albums, the Black Album, 444. Like I'm
Mhm.
I'm learning now because I'm buying my old building that I used to do garbage in.
Oh, what? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. So it's just crazy the fact that like all these things are from him. He's taught me so
Mhm.
much, and I feel like he didn't need to say much. It was kind of cool
Mhm.
to just like have a regular conversation and talk about basketball and talk about other things. He loved
Mhm.
Kobe.
Yeah.
I know so much already. You can't tell me because I know so much.
Mhm.
That I decode all his lyrics, and I think that's what makes him such a brilliant artist. Is if you were to put his lyrics on the wall and read them, you'd be blown away because you can break them
Mhm.
down. And some songs that you can play now that were done 20 years ago, and that you'll be like, "Oh my God, now I understand what he meant by that." So I think that's what
Yeah.
makes him special. But yeah, I was blessed.
Yeah.
The greatest story was taking the elevator with Jay-Z in the Freedom Tower, listening to Nina Simone on the elevator. I thought that was a great memory that I always cherish and remember.
Yeah.
First time meeting him, well, not meeting him, but first time seeing him after I signed was LA. Um, and it was me, him, and Mariah Carey. And I still
Wow.
remember that. Yeah, and I love Mariah Carey dearly. She's incredible, and my family and I play her all the time. And
Yeah.
it was just, it's just been so surreal, man. Everything I've ever dreamed about and wished about to meet people that I idolized, loved, and cherished their work. I've been so blessed to work with them, meet them, eat with them, chill with them, and
Mhm.
be present in their presence, and I played my music for some of the greatest artists in the world, and they've
Mhm.
had nothing but amazing things to say, which is the gas to the fuel to me continuing to pursue my goal and pursue my
Mhm.
dreams. Yeah.
Nice. And we did talk about your album, but you didn't tell me if there's a release date yet.
Yeah, there is no release date yet because I
Okay.
really, really want to. I really want people to kind of enjoy this album as I slowly spoon feed it to them because it's
Mhm.
such Midnight Sun was just the start, the engine. There's
Mhm.
so much to this album that's so important to me. It's a very, very, very important album. This is
Mhm.
my Bruce Springsteen, 1984, uh, uh, brain fart.
Yeah.
Uh, what's the Bruce Springsteen album?
Uh, couldn't tell you, unfortunately.
Uh, I need to find it now. Like we gotta
Yeah.
Google it. What's his first album? I can't believe I'm
Uh,
like having a brain
I'll,
fart
I'll Google
because
it
I
real
love
quick. Real quick.
because
Yeah.
I love Nebraska. I love his other work. I love his Asbury album, but the 1984 album,
Wait, he's from
the
Asbury, New Jersey?
no, that's his first
Yeah.
album. Um, the one with the American flag, where I'm on fire is
Oh,
on
Born in the
there.
USA.
Born in the USA. This is my
Yeah.
Born in the USA moment.
Yeah.
This is my Born in the USA moment, and I think this album is so important. And God willing, and let the universe really shine. I've been in this industry for 14 years. I've never
Mhm.
had a hit record. I've
That's
never
crazy.
had a hit record. Um, I've never had a hit record. I've had, I think 18 songs of mine are over 200 million plays, and I've never had a hit record. I had my songs play on the radio. I had my songs played on ESPN. I've saw people win championship playing my song called My Year. I've seen my song on Jimmy Fallon with Sting. I've seen everything, but I've never had a hit record. So I feel like I built a big foundation. I built this big house, and the only thing missing right now is the
Mm.
roof.
Ah,
And 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 I need the roof. The door, everything's built. I just need the roof to like close it off to say I'm a home, I'm here, I'm a household name. And I think the one hit record is gonna change everything. And I feel like that record is gonna be on this album.
you'll get there for sure. I mean, just from yeah, I believe it. You'll get there. Let's speak that into
I mean,
existence for you.
yeah, of course. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
blessing. Like think about
Yeah.
this. A hit record is a moment.
Hmm.
Being cool is forever. That's
Facts.
why that's why we love Sade. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
my favorite artist. If you could
Mhm.
if you could listen to one artist for the rest of your life, who would it be? One.
I mean, that's tough, but I mean, I'm old school. I would probably say Michael Jackson.
That's a great answer. No, that's a great answer. That's a lot of he's a versatile artist and you could listen to a
Yeah.
lot of things. With me,
Yeah.
it would be Sinatra or Sade. And it's
Yeah.
because I can listen to that over and over again. I listen to that over and over again. That's how I feel. And um it's a lot of these artists that we name. Like Michael, obviously he's a
Mhm.
big pop artist, but like a lot of people, when you talk to them and you say, if you can listen to one artist, they always name an artist that doesn't have a hit or is not that popular.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, in all the parties that I attend, they don't play the number one songs. They just don't. We play Black
Hmm.
Coffee or we play
Hmm.
like the cool vibe that's underground right now,
Sure. Yeah.
and it's like it's about being chic, it's about being tasteful, it's about having style, it's about being who you are, it's about being authentic. And for the first
Hmm.
time in my life, I feel very authentic to me. I feel comfortable in my own skin to sing and be able to do what I want. And I think me being authentic is going to take this album where it needs to go.
Nice. I love that. Gosh,
Because
I feel like I could
this,
talk to you all day. I'm like,
nah, no, I just want to say, this album's not a country album. This album, the genre is my voice.
mm,
I can do any genre because my voice is the genre. And
I
once
love that.
people start to know that, then they'll realize I can do anything.